We're at the Dispo here in Romeo. It's raining outside, but it's dry and it's clean and it's friendly here
and it
inside.
Smells good in here.
It does smell good, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Originally, I thought it might have been me, but no, I don't think that's the case. I love this part of Dispo. There's a food drive, a couple of boxes here. You can bring in some food when you come here as well. So our thanks to Darren and Sean Dabish for having us out here. We love being out here. We know they love the Lions, and we know that this town has really gravitated toward the Lions. You and I have not covered many Lions winning seasons. We have not covered a team that I believe is the epitome of this city. You were born and raised in this city. I was born and raised in the burbs, but I consider myself a Detroiter. What I love most, and you and I go all over the country, what I love most is bragging about our city and how much better it is now, but how passionate the people are and how real the people are. I've always said that. The Midwest for sure, but especially here in Detroit. I think this Lions team is the epitome of what the city is all about. Other teams that I used to think that about, the 68 and 84 Tigers, not just because they won world championships, it's because of how they gravitated toward the city, even though they all weren't from there. Not everybody was Willie Horton, okay, in 68. But there was a piece of everybody on that team who felt like Detroit. 84, we covered those guys. Trammell was from California. Lou Whitaker was from down south. Not everybody was Kirk Gibson from Waterford. But they felt like Detroiters to us. I think this Lions team is as close to any team in Lions history that I've ever covered that epitomizes this city.
No, that's true, and I think a lot of it has to do. I mean, keep going back to Dan Campbell, but Dan Campbell played for the Lions, and for him, this was personal. Mm-hmm. And so, the thing that I found out that these guys, dealing with the Lions, a lot of what they say and what they do, this is like dropped from the tree from Dan Campbell. Mm-hmm. And nobody out there cares about this, but in my 32 years of dealing with athletics, this is the nicest locker room I've ever dealt with. And so I've told
people. For the
people,
Lions, you're saying?
No, period.
Sports?
Sports in
Wow.
Detroit.
Wow.
Now, some people, wow, of course, because they're winning and blah, blah, blah. Well, 89 Pistons won. The 90 Pistons won.
They weren't very nice.
Yeah, they weren't nice all the time. 84 Tigers won. They weren't nice all the time.
Oh, you better believe that's true.
But these guys, it's like, dang. I mean, one time, I think it was Alex Anzalone.
Yeah.
I was interviewing him, and he thought my tape recorder stopped. And he stopped. And he just said, are you okay? Is it working? Or I said, yeah, it's going on. It just turns off, shuts off, but it's still working. So he took the time out.
Wow. That's cool.
And then that happened. I was doing the story on the linemen, too. Mm-hmm. And to a man, they were like, what do you need?
Really?
We good? Yeah.
Let's not confuse nice and soft.
No.
You can be nice.
How about professional?
Yeah, that's a better way to use it. Yeah. But I think there's a not even a quiet toughness anymore. And it's not because Dan Campbell comes out and says some of the things that he said at his press conference when he was first named head coach. It's just about how they play. And I think that stems from how Brad Holmes has built it. He built it from the inside out. Defensive line was a priority. Offensive line was a priority. I love Amos St. Brown. I love Jahmyr Gibbs, okay? I'm a big tight end guy, so I like Sam Laporta. But it starts for him and this team, and I think in the city up front, don't you?
Oh, it absolutely does. And these guys are the backbone of this team.
Yep.
We love what St. Brown does. We love what Laporta does. We love what Goff does. But none of that is possible without the toughness on the offensive line. And these are men. There's guys who are men. Mm-hmm. These are men.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, like
these
real
are badasses.
Men. Right.
Yeah. Yeah. They love – there's an old cliche about offensive linemen, and how they love to run the football. They rather run the football than throw the football because it means you get to maul people. Mm-hmm. This team does just that. When you've got guys like Ragnow and Jackson and Glasnow, and you've got Decker and Sewell, you can tell they love to run the football.
Oh,
and they're
do.
getting a lot of love nationally, and for good reason. Some people think it's the second best offensive line in football. I'm not smart enough to know whether or not that's the case.
So you didn't break it down on film last night?
I didn't go and break it down and rewind it, and go slow-mo and all that other stuff. Philly's really good. Proof is in the pudding.
It is.
This is as balanced a Lions team. You and I covered Barry Sanders.
Right.
You and I covered Matthew Stafford. Matthew Stafford was a great quarterback. Never had a good running game. Never above 15, ranked 15. That's not even, that's the midway point. He had 1 year, I believe, as a defense that was ranked highly. It was second in the NFL, led by Ndamukong Suh and those guys. This team has great balance. I don't think they're complete, but I think they have great balance.
They do. I remember interviewing the great Charlie Batch.
Great dude.
Yeah, he was a great dude,
Yeah.
but I was a little critical of him. And he found we were in the locker room. We went outside the locker room. He said, dude, I don't have a running game.
Yeah.
So what you want to see happen here, it's not going to happen.
Yeah.
Because
until we get a running
right,
game.
because we don't have it now. And part of it was they didn't have the offensive line. Even with Barry Sanders, that offensive line had Lomas Brown and Kevin Glover.
Yeah, I thought their offensive line was underrated. I didn't think it was as good as the Dallas Cowboys. I'm not saying there was Nate Newton there.
No, you know what? Here's our disagreement. I don't think it was underrated. I thought that
Kevin
offensive
Glover
line
was really good.
You had
Lomas Brown's a Hall of Famer. Come on.
But still, that offensive line kind of stunk a little bit.
Okay, they lost two guys too. Eric Andlusek died, and Mike Utley was paralyzed.
Right.
But when they had Andlusek in there and Utley, they were pretty damn good. They were. They were. I'm not saying I'm not saying they were as good as Dallas. I thought they were pretty damn good. I've always felt like people feel like Barry did it all on his own, and Barry Sanders is the greatest running back I've ever seen. And there's a really cool documentary coming out on Prime, Bye Bye Barry, Why Did He Leave, all that other stuff. He's by far, just watch his highlights and you'll be in awe, okay? Your jaw will drop. I think Billy Sims was an unbelievable player too. Might have been as good, if not better, than Barry had he stayed healthy. However, I think people kind of said it was all about Barry because of how much he freelanced. And I don't think they gave the offensive line nearly enough credit.
All right, who's one of those person who doesn't give the offensive line enough credit? This guy. Here's what I saw. Hand off to Barry, and Barry's looking at three dudes like, okay, what am I going to do? I got to freelance my way through them before I can start rolling.
And he did it, but you know who will tell you they were underrated? Who? Barry.
No, of course he has to, man.
Yeah. Well, he doesn't have to. He doesn't have to worry about that anymore.
Well, he still sees them, and they're still buds and stuff like that.
Well, yeah. Okay,
it's I get it. Lomas Brown. You know what Lomas Brown tried to do?
He's a good man.
Every time Barry ran the ball, he tried to run up and pick him up because he said that man deserved that because of the way that he ran the football.
Yeah.
But, in a little gentle nudge, I guess we're going to have to disagree on this one.
Yeah, that's okay. That's what this is all about. I don't, in today's NFL, you do not focus on running backs as much. I think Christian McCaffrey is a hell of a player. I think Alvin Kamara is a hell of a player. But you just don't see the emphasis on the run game like it used to. And maybe that's because you don't have guys like Eric Dickerson and Barry Sanders and guys like that. It reminds me now of when Lydell Mitchell played for the Colts and Chuck Foreman played for the Vikings, and there were some interchangeable parts now. There's not that superstar running back like there used to be on a regular basis when Tony Dorsett and those guys played back.
And you don't need that anymore. But it used to be, let me get my bell cow. I'm going to run this dude 30 times a game.
Right.
The Lions finally, in year 3 of Dan Campbell, got it right. It's the two-headed monster now with Montgomery and Gibbs.
Mm-hmm.
You don't want to run a guy 30 times because you know what? He's going to be on the sideline in crutches or something like that. I like the fact that they're going to
load management. Are you talking about load management?
Load management, but it's different from the NBA. And load management in NBA means I'm not showing up in that game.
It means I'm taking the day off.
Right, I'm taking the day off.
Right, that's a good point.
I got on my silk suit. I hope y'all like it because you ain't going to see me play today.
Where's the camera? Here I am right there. David Montgomery will play against his old squad. Do you believe that there's extra incentive for players against their ex-team?
Absolutely. But here's what you get before the game. No, it's just another game.
Right.
I would just want to help the ball club win and everything. That's a bunch of baloney. We get lied to all the time. But then if you run into David Montgomery 10 years from now, he said, oh, yeah, I was motivated. I was in the locker room saying, man, we got to beat these mugs.
He's been pretty motivated so far. He's been
Right.
a hell of a pickup. I think a lot of people wondered aloud, was it a good choice? Of course, they also wondered aloud whether Jahmyr Gibbs was a good selection. I think a lot of people are changing their minds at that. That's a quick first hour for us here.